you through how to create your own wireframe with Whimsical. Whimsical is basically the tool that I used to create my wireframe in the last video. So the first thing you need to do is go to their website, whimsical.com. You can see it on the screen being displayed, so you can go do that. Whimsical.com. Then you can basically sign up for free. I want to sign up with my Google account, and then I can pick this. Once I've done that, it tells you to create a workspace, suggesting that I use Favor workspace. So let's name it Favor workspace, and then create workspace. So you can skip this for now, and then I can say what type of work am I doing. I can select product management. I mean the product manager. And then what do you want to use Whimsical for? So you can skip this, and then you get to this page. Welcome to Whimsical and all that. So you get to this page. As you can see, there's already a template or a view for wireframe that if you want to create a wireframe, you can also come here and create new ones, next wireframe. Once you've done that, it shows you several templates that you have on the side. You can go ahead and close that so that we can start from scratch. So you can see this toolbar on the side, and then you can switch your mode. If you don't want to work on wireframe again, you then select a board or a project that you want to work on. So you can ignore that, and we can come here. You want to start first with adding a frame. By adding a frame is that what it means is you want to have like a desktop frame, you want to add a phone frame. So you can see once you click on that, you select, you see what frame you want to have: plain, window, phone, Android, tablet, and watch. So if you select window, it gives you like a desktop view, just like a frame of what a desktop view would look like. If you select a phone, it gives you an iPhone lookalike. Or if you select let's say you select a watch, gives you what a watch looks like. And that's basically how it works. So let's say we want to work with a mobile frame. Let me bring this out and we can now work with this. So you can expand it and then look at this. So you can see this. So you can see that it's in portrait view, or you can put it in landscape view. Let's work with portrait view. Yeah, you can see the status bar. If you don't want it, you can put it back. Then for this, you can change the color of the phone or whatnot, basically. This is to duplicate this. You click on duplicate, it does the same page in the exact one. You can place it whatever you want to. And then you can add a comment to that page, and then you can do a lot of activities with this. So that's what basically creating a frame entails. So let's say we want to replicate let's say mobile Google search. Let's go to image. So we want to, I'm trying to find an image that we can replicate so that I can show you what that would look like. So take a look at this. This is quite simple. You just want to replicate what this is. Just Google here, then this small search bar, and then maybe each of these icons. So let's take a look at it. So for Google here, you can come here and just now you can then move on to add elements. Adding elements means that you can add a rectangle, a solid button, an outline button, and all that. So you select what you want. So you want a text. I'll come here. So I didn't find what I was looking for. So this is text here. So I can just put what I want to do and then add Google. But this is too small. I want to make it bigger. So you basically increase the size of the text here, or decrease it, so you have Google. Like I said, wireframes are just simple frames. They don't have to be all colored and all that. It's just supposed to show what the application will look like at the end of the day. You don't necessarily need colors and all that. If you need colors, you can basically change the color in it to red or plain colors or thereabouts. But let's stick to what we have. So say I have Google here, but I want to centralize it. Let's take a look at the design again. So it's a little bit in the middle. So let's put it in the middle. Let's put it somewhere here. So we have something else again. We have like a text area where you're supposed to put your details or whatever you want to search. So you can come here, go to the element and look for text inputs. So you can see text inputs here. So you can put it down here. And then I move it up and then search. So this is not doing what I want it to do. So I can select something else. So I can go and say, okay, let me use a rectangle instead. And then I'll just put the other details in there. So I can do that. Then I'll reduce the rectangle by doing this and then using it on and all that. So if you notice, this has like rounded edges. So you can basically come here and then change the shape of that to something like this. So now I have my rounded edges. And then we have like the search. Now remember that it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just supposed to represent what you're trying to do. So once you do that, let's come here again. You say it has a search button and it has a microphone button. What do? We come here. And then we can then look for icons. So those icons that will fall on this design here, they're icons. So you come here, you look through the bar, you can see this says add element, this one says add frame, add connector, you see add text, I see add icon. So come to this icon and one was a search button. You can just search for search. And then it brings out the different types of search button that you can find. So this is one that I can use. So it's selected. But this is too big, so you can reduce it to your size. Once you reduce it, you can then drag it, click on it, and drag it to wherever you want to take it to. So let's take it. So I want it in here. So search. So let me centralize it a little bit more. So I've dragged it into there. So you use your mouse, you click on that icon and then drag it to where you want. You can again come here and then select search for microphone. So this is the microphone icon that was there. So let's take a look at it. This is the microphone. So you come here again and then you select the microphone. So you come here, you reduce the size again to whatever you want. And then you can move it into that box. So, okay, let me try to reduce it again and then centralize it. And then we have a microphone. But if I'm trying to make this, so I can change the color again, just to make it a little bit lighter. So I come here and I change the color to something lighter. So it comes like that. That's for the microphone. Change it to the gray to something lighter. And then you have this element. So that's basically what we have at Google and this. So if you come up here, you can actually see that you have like a profile image at the top of the page. So let's go look for profile, or I can just search for it. Just search for say a profile. Let's see if we can find something like that. So let's take a look at it again. So we see something like that and come here. So you pick it. I think this is the one we saw. Can reduce it again. Let me reduce it before putting it here. Change the color again to something light. And then put it up there. After profile, we had like a menu or a hamburger menu or something like that. So we can search for it to find it. So I didn't find the exact one. So you can come here again and just maybe I can use one of these, but let's just try to see if I can find the exact one I'm looking for. Apparently not, so let's use a normal hamburger menu. So say this just to represent what was up. So we can see that there, and then you have that right there, just to represent the other thing that I'm for. So let's take a look at that. So while it's not perfect, it's representing what here. So we have a text here, and then I have this here again. So I have images, so I can put text. Let's take a look at again. So images here, or basically another hamburger menu. So duplicate. So let me show you how I did that. You can switch it and then duplicate, click on this duplicate button. So it tells you where you want to duplicate it to. So you have it here. And then you have the text that says all. So you come to text, put it here. So put all. Say all caps lock all. And then reduce it to fit. So you say all there. Put in the middle. Then I can duplicate this again. And then put it there. But this one says images. So I edit it and then I put images. So let me edit it and put images. As you can see, it's basically coming along well. So we have that. And I can make this a little lighter just to fit some of the page so that it can all rhyme. So you have this. So basically, we've tried to just replicate what this page looks like. And we have that here. You have so all this, you didn't have to do it because it already came with the design and all that. So that's one way to use Whimsical. And I know that this is not, I'm trying to make this as detailed as possible so that you can also create your own wireframe. So we have this. So we can let's try something else. What if I want to add a button here and I say, okay, I'm feeling lucky. I think there's some Google pages that has like say I'm feeling lucky, or that was like a while back, but let me see if I can find something like that has a button. Okay, say we want to, now that we have this search and all that, I want to add this icons the way it is, like my bookmarks and stuff like that. So you can have this. So I can come here and say icon. Okay, I can't find what I'm looking for. I can look for. Okay, so I can represent what was there with an image. So I want to put a picture here. Once represent that a picture is here, I can put it here. And I can duplicate it, then arrange it the way I want to. If I want to add a button, all I need to do is come to add another element and then select the solid button. And the button comes here. Say I want the button to be set. Like I said, this gives you a picture of what this is. So you come here, I change the color to green, I change the color to red. You can make it an outlined button. You can come to state and say it's disabled so that it looks like I see that button is not effective at all, but you can put that normal. You can fill it again and change it to a small icon on button rather. You can make it very large. Let's say it's small, so you can put search. Let me change it back to purple or something. And then you have that there. That's if you want to add a button. If you want to, say, add an element, so let's say video, like maybe it is YouTube. Let's say we want to replicate what YouTube looks like or something, or we want to say, okay, this is a video too. You can just adjust it to your side, and then with that represent a video. So this is, say, another design. So you have this, and then you can add another element. Like I said, you can add an avatar. This avatar reveals that, oh, this is someone's profile. Let me add that again. You can add an avatar, which is representing someone's profile, which is this. If I want to outline it, I want it to be dash stuff around it. You see this. So this basically allows you to play around with different elements in the Whimsical library. And if you are feeling like, oh, you don't have time to do some of this, you can actually now go create a template. So if you come here, you see add a template, and then you can search for mobile wireframe. Can preview it, then say use template. So you can see that he has given you different ways to use mobile apps and all that. So you have this as your template. You can just copy one of this, and then just once you want to do that, just duplicate, copy it, and edit it to suit your need. So this is basically showing you a wireframe for what search result to look like. That is, you search for should be a cat. So basically, you just tweak your elements, your frames, your element. You can use rectangle. You have buttons. You have outline button. You have images. If you want to represent an image, if you want to use a checkbox, that's if someone also want to be able to check this. So what you do is make it small, let's say it's large. So someone can check this or check this, just to represent that, check it or check it. You can select a different element that says, if the drop down menu, it represents your drop down menu, you can basically now add whatever value, text value. So it means that like someone can select from this. So it should represent that someone can select from this menu. So if you want to add the option to it, say, let's say PM course, and then another one, say intro video. There you have this. So once you click on this, you can disable this field. You can make it normal. So this is basically representing that, oh, you can add values. You can select from a particular menu. You can. There are several elements that you can basically use. You can use a toggle. This is the toggle. This is when it's on or. So you can just change the state to off here, and then it's off. You can make it a disabled button, or when it's disabled while it's on. So basically, Whimsical gives you different elements that you can basically use to create a wireframe. And I want you to try using Whimsical to create yours, to make your own wireframe, to create a prototype for your users on the problem that you've solved or your solution that you decided to use for your particular project. So I would see what you come up with, and I'm going to be holding a live class to give you more tips on how to use Whimsical if you have any questions.